Just let me know when you're good.
All right, you're good.
Okay, so tonight's call was a few minutes late because I had to grab my wine. That's one of my favorite things about team calls. I haven't had wine in a long time for calls. So if you are new and this is your first time on or anything, feel free to do not put makeup on. I probably put makeup on today for the first time in a long time. Don't worry about what you look like. I don't care if you're wearing a bra. Just come and be happy and interact with other people on our team. So another really cool thing that I always mention, but I want to I know we have some new people on, there's a chat box, and I'd love for you guys to just interact in there with each other. If maybe I say something that strikes oh, that's a good idea, and I had this idea, just use the chat and talk to each other and answer each other. When the speaker is speaking, it's really hard to kind of pay attention to the chat boxes too, so I won't always be looking at that, but other people in the chat will be there to help you. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about tonight was taxes. And so what I do is I will actually set up, or it's in the group already. If you just search taxes in the Run Pink Run Happy group, you'll see my, it's an Excel document. And I'm going to pull it up here, and unfortunately I can't share my screen, but I can tell you the different categories that I use. And it's super simplified. You don't have to overthink it. I mean, I do take mine to somebody to get it done, so I'm not telling you how to do your taxes. I'm, sorry, I was reading something I was opening. I'm just telling you how to get them set up. So what my categories are is commissions and fees. And so this means that any of your like $15.95 monthly fee, or I don't know why it says commissions though. That's not what I meant. But what I meant is, oh, I guess I did have, I had commissions and fees all together. So I add up my account and Matt's account together, and I put in what we made. And then I put in like last year's taxes, whatever I paid to have them done. You can technically write that off too. Liability insurance, I did have that last year and wrote that off. I had that for something for, teaching insanity. That's why I had it. And so any of your $15 monthly fees and, club membership could go in there as well. And because basically you have to have those things to be awarded certain things. Like you have to have SHACO to be eligible for, Success Club trips and things like that. So a lot of people go back and forth whether or not you could write off Shakeology. If you are just drinking it, I would say no, but there's a way to, if you can sit across from somebody and explain why you need it. So for us, you need to be drinking SHACO. You need to be a product of the product for this business to work. And also it's necessary for you to be an active coach. So I was talking to a woman about it, that she was like, if you can sit across from, the IRS and explain to them and why you need it, they're not going to fight with you. Like, are you sure? It's really just about like being able to justify it. With SHACO, you can justify it because you would miss out on a ton of stuff in your business. And then also you can include what you spent on SHACO and things like that, for the month. So office expenses, I have things like, I just wrote what it was and the amount. You can do the date if you want. You can do it by month if you want. You can do it updated every month. You can do, whatever. I just wrote like printer paper, 706. And what I would do, I think it was Sarah that gave me this idea, on the actual receipt itself, if you're saving it, write what it was so you can easily remember later what it was. Ink, office supplies, hotspot, iPad, Apple Care, an iPad case, things like that. So if I had to pay to cancel my contract, and then I bought a new phone. So I'm going to write that off because the main reason I did was because I needed it for my business. And so things like that, if you buy a new phone, or, I bought an iPad because I needed to, this is last year, or 2014, I bought an iPad because I couldn't do anything with my Samsung that I wanted to do. So that was a tax write-off for me. This year, I bought a new computer, and
Yeah, April, you're frozen. I lost her this year. I bought a new laptop.
Yeah, that's where I did too.
I don't know where she'll hop back in, but about the new laptop, what I did hear was that for a laptop or a big item like that, you do have to write it off over multiple years. So you can't just do like, $1,500 off the top of this year. It has to be written off over like what the lifespan of that item would be. Does
You
that
just
make
have to
sense?
depreciate it.
Yeah. So like it would be divided by 5 years or whatever.
And I think the IRS, I'm not sure with like computers, but I know like vehicles and stuff, the IRS has preset life expectancies that you can get.
Right. What are some things like off the top of your heads that you're writing off that maybe we could just throw out there in a forum that maybe some of us didn't think of? So while April's reconnecting.
One of the big ones I did was mileage. I originally started out saving gas receipts, and then April said you can't do that. It has to just be mileage. So I keep track of anywhere that I go that's Beachbody related.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that I would even know how to go back and do that at this point.
I mean, some of it I fudged. Like I knew I went to Pittsburgh 3 times, so I Google mapped from my house to the hotel where the Super Saturday was, and then I just used that as the mileage.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, my phone died and then my computer started working miraculously. So, but yeah, that's what I do with mileage. I just like I keep track of how many times Matt has gone from Fayetteville to Charlotte because he also can write off mileage and stuff as a realtor too. So I keep track of that, and then I keep track of how many times I've gone back and forth to the airport, and just do a rough estimate of what it is by that many trips that you've had.
The airport's a good one. I didn't even think of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, airport. We drove to Nashville, so things like that. I'm just going to keep track and just do a rough estimate. But yeah, there's no point in saving your gas receipts because you can't write off it just as that. You just have to do the mileage. Jesse, your makeup looks really good today, by the way.
With the mileage, I went to Columbus, Ohio for a horse show. And while I was there, I talked to people about Beachbody. So I'm writing off the hotel, I'm writing off the mileage, because I'm saying, even though I didn't go for Beachbody, I'm still saying it was a Beachbody trip.
Yeah. I mean, if you are, out with your, a couple people that you think would be awesome at coaching, and that it comes up for a while that you're talking about it, you can write off that dinner expense. I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh, every time I go to dinner, my husband and I talk about Beachbody. Like, that isn't something you can do every time, but here and there are dinners where Matt and I will literally talk about real estate and Beachbody the entire time, and I'm like, that could be a tax write-off if you wanted it to. I have so many from last year. I was like, I'm not even going to worry about it. But yeah, there's a lot of things. If I go to Starbucks and have coffee and I'm working on my business, I write off if I have coffee or if I get like a wrap or something like that. And food is all 50%. Your tax person will know this, but food is always just 50% that they write off. They don't write off the whole thing. But now you can see my tab. So commissions and fees, office expenses. Also, there's a thing that if you have a home office, I think it has to have a door on it. I don't know. There's like weird things. It can't just be like a room that you call an office, but there's like an actual door to it. It's considered a home office, and that's another tax write-off you can have. So, and all these any new coaches on here, I don't want you to be like overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, I didn't start doing this right away. But it is good to know that, depending on what tax bracket, for us, we were told to put away 25% due to our tax bracket. As you make more money, you have to put more aside and things like that. But that's just kind of a rule of thumb that I have. Every time I get paid, I put 25% into a savings, and I guarantee I won't owe it all, but it's nice, even if I'm just continuously putting that. Then if I have extra, I'll pay off a credit card, or I'll go take a vacation with it or something like that. So it's always just better safe than sorry. And you don't have to pay any taxes until you make over 600 in a year. So if you just signed on in November, December and sold a couple of challenge packs, they're not even going to send you a 1099. But yeah, they don't take any taxes out. So that's why we talk about this. And then supplies, shake samples, thank yous, whatever. I didn't have a whole lot in 2014. And then I just decided to just do the dates. Like, it's not super fancy, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to say what it was, and the price. But you can do it really any way you want, as long as you have the receipts and know what they were for. So that's why I love the idea of writing what was on the receipt, then that's fine. Meals and entertainment. This is like anything, and meals and entertainment, whether you're out with friends or you're traveling or whatever, I put that all in here. And then travel is plane tickets. It's, going through tolls. It's, checking a luggage, things like that. And then meals and entertainment can be, even parts of your travel as well. Or like one time I took a client to get her nails done and I paid for it. So I wrote that off, things like that. Small equipment like battery chargers, tripods, stands, things like that, just download everything that you've bought in the last year from Amazon, and PayPal and maybe your credit card. And you can just go through and highlight too. And that can be a receipt, right there. So it doesn't, if you were like, oh crap, I wasn't saving receipts, you can always go back through and, Amazon I literally strictly use for business almost. So I can always go back through and highlight all that stuff, or if you use eBay or something. Education. So like Smart Success, I did Eric Worre, Marketing Impact, John C. Maxwell things, all those kind of stuff. So, that I keep track of all of that. And if you don't have a receipt for something, and maybe it was with somebody else, you can have somebody like PayPal you a receipt for things, say it was like, I split this hotel and I just Venmo'd her. You can always, if you want an actual receipt, you can just have somebody send you an invoice or something like that too. Marketing. So anything from like your your iStore, I don't know what it's called, your app store. And then, anything that was marketing, I paid, for features and Instagram a lot in 2014 and stuff like that. Uniforms really is only like if you bought team swag. I wish you could write off all the fitness clothes that you buy, but it's really just supposed to be like team swag. And maybe if you needed something like for a specific photo shoot you were going to do, you could do that. But for the most part, you can't write off clothes. So any like team swag, like if you bought any Run Pink or, from your other teams, you bought anything, you could write that off too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would that be like Beachbody clothing too?
Yes.
Write that off? Okay.
Okay. So I would say that if you went to the core and you bought like 3 sweatshirts or something like that, and they said Hayo directly, if it was just like, I don't know that you can write it all off, but I will write off anything that publicly says like size, Shakeology, or things like that. If I was like, oh, I bought this and I bought this and I bought this because it was cute, like Autumn Calabrese collection or something like that, I don't know that I would do that. But if it's wear and share, to me, that's marketing. Postage is a big one. I'm always sending things out in the mail. Let's see, what else do I have? And again, this is in the group. If you just type in, you can type in taxes 2014 and this document will come up. This is donations. We've got client gifts. And I just realized that you cannot do over $25 for gifts. You're not supposed to write off over $25 for one person at one time. Otherwise, you would supposed to be technically giving them like a W-9 for it. So some of these things are like not acceptable, but that was 2014, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then phone and internet, figure out, and you could just do a rough estimate. I mean, how much was your phone bill every month? Times it by 12. How much was your internet bill? Times it by 12. Things like that. So, and your spouse, if they, are helping you out. So, then have them. And Matt finds me referrals a lot. So I, write off both of ours because we're both technically coaches. If he was not really, doing anything or whatever, I would say maybe not, but there's plenty of times that he's helping me with stuff too. So I wrote off both of our phones that we bought, and I'll write off both of our computers too. So that's kind of it. That's kind of what I do. And again, this document is in there, so that should be helpful for you. But if you guys have any questions, we'll save anything for taxes. Just put it into the group chat, and we'll get to it at the end. Because I have a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about. My goal for 2016 is stop saying so freaking much too. Just smack me when I say it. Or tell me I'm stupid or something. Okay. All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, talked about that. Free groups. Okay. So just kidding. I'm going to save that for the end. Onboarding process. Okay. For our onboarding process, I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what I'm doing, and you can find the sample emails in our Google Drive. I need to update them, but they're pretty much what I send right now. So the first thing, I assign somebody on. I say, okay, awesome. I'm so excited. Send me your email. A lot of times I just have them send my email. It's so much easier than, having to log in and do this. I mean, you want to log in and make sure that it goes through too, but I'll have them send me their email, and I'll send them the welcome email. In that welcome email are my 2 Girl Boss Academy videos. That's where they're going to get started, and then how to set up their website, things like that. All of that's on the Google Drive. You can check that out. And then I'm going to send them a link to my Acuity scheduling. That's in that email, and they're going to schedule a post, or they're going to schedule our Getting Started Right call. So then I have my Getting Started Right call, and then at the end of that, so today I talked to Amber, did her Getting Started Right call, and then when we got off the phone, I sent her week 1 email. So that was like after the first Getting Started Right call, this is what we talked about. This is what I wanted you to do. Here's a sample of how to do your Welcome I'm a Coach post, and here's the link to add yourself to Coach Basics. So I don't give them the link to add themselves to Coach Basics until they get that week 1 email, so that they have to personally request to be in there, so I can see right then and there who's reading the emails and who wants to work. Then I at the end of that first call, I say, okay, great. Just as soon as we're done, I want you to go in and schedule our call for next week. And then we'll get on the phone then. If you have any questions in the meantime, just post in the Run Pink group. You can always come to me, but if it's, a general team question, I want you to post in there. And that my coaches that are really working, I do one-on-one messaging with them. If it's just somebody that's like asking me questions like, where's my coach ID? I'm not going to continue like doing that kind of conversation all the time. But if somebody's like, okay, I talked to this girl, I talked to this girl, I talked to this girl, how should I go about this? Then I'm really going to focus on doing that one-on-one time with them because I know they're working. And then we do the week 2 call, and I send an email. And again, these are all in the Google Drive. Week 3 call, and I send an email, and then it's just as needed after that. Some people, I don't even get to the week 3 call because they just take it and run. And then I'm like, okay, let's just check in at the end of the month or something like that. Some people don't ever schedule the second call, and then or some people don't even schedule the first call. So, I mean, there's just always those people too. And I will remind them, I'll remind them twice. And then after that, it's usually like once a week. And then after that, it's maybe once a month. Like, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to make you. But I also don't want to just be like, peace, never touch base with you again. And then, so what I'm going to do is the first month of that they're a coach, I'm going to invite them to a What is Coaching, either happy hour or webinar or sneak peek, whatever we're running, so that they can add, hi Gunny, so that they can add everybody to that group and help me help their client prospects or coach prospects. So I want them to invite 10 friends to that What is Coaching or 3-day sneak peek, whatever we're doing. And then anybody that they're talking to, I'm going to ask them if we can do 3-way chats. Like, okay, well, what are they stuck on? How about you do a 3-way chat and you can introduce us and I can tell her more about coaching. Or I've done 3-way Zooms before and things like that. But just not being afraid to say, let me talk to you. Like, what are their objections? Ask them what their objections are so you can offer how to fix it. Sarah's dying, I think. This is so funny. You look like you're being mauled by a bear. Nope, just Gunny Snuggles. So yeah, but just making sure that you're getting involved instead of just thinking that they're doing okay. Just be like, okay, well, is there somebody that maybe we can do a group chat with? Because a lot of times closing the deal is where they're going to need you. So, yep, and then they get added to my free group and my challenge group the first month, and then after that, they're supposed to kind of do their own challenge group. So anybody have any questions about that onboarding? Any suggestions or anything else that you have for that? Okay. All right, so the next thing is talking about rank advancement. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about with three-way calls and Zooms. Three-way Zooms and calls with prospects and your new coaches. I just love doing that. I love being able to be like, don't be afraid. Like, I'll help you with that. And you're not going to do that for your coaches for 6 months. Don't worry, like, I don't have time for this. I offer to do 1 or 2, and then they're on their own, and they get to do that. And I talked to the New Leader Conference call about I do, we do, you do, and that's also a great method to have. Like, okay, the first time I'm going to do it, and then the second time let's both kind of talk, and then you talk about it each time, and then the third time they're going to do it, and you're going to watch, and then the third, after that, they're going to have one of their new coaches and show them. So it's just a great system to kind of relay that down and dig deeper too than just one level deep. If you've got a coach that's just barely a coach, not knowing what to do, she miraculously signs on a coach, and then that coach is talking to somebody and you're all like, I don't know. So don't be afraid to go a couple levels deep, especially if it's a new coach who's just having great success and signing people on. She's still trying to figure out what the heck she's doing. So dig deep into a couple levels deep too. I like to reach out. I did this on the Diamond Call today. I talked to our Diamonds and I said, what coaches of yours are working so that I can check in with them? So that tells me that if you have somebody that wants it, they're pushing, then I am going to give them my effort, and I'm going to check in with them and see how I can help them. And also tell them like, hey, your coach thinks you're awesome. And that's a big perk for them to hear somebody that is, farther up in their upline, looking down and realizing they're seeing what you're doing and they're saying, hey, you're rocking it. So I think it's just such a compliment coming from somebody that's not your direct upline, because that means that, they're watching you. And so I think that that's something that they really enjoy. And then, just checking in with them, with your coaches that have 1 to 4 successful points, start a group chat with them, see how they're doing. I always do that every month with our people that are pushing for 5, and it's a fun game. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm taking Danielle out. She hit success 5. I'm putting her in that other group. And you're like, say bye to Danielle, so it's fun. You want to be, encouraging each other and things like that. And then when they're at 5, pushing for 10, you can put them in a group, and it's kind of like a fun competition. They can work together and things like that. Team Cup this month is a great time to focus on rank advancement, because they're also going to get 3 extra points. So that's like, hey guys, your team is rocking. You want those 3 extra, Team Cup points. Let me help you talk to like 2 or 3 people you're working on with coaching. So just diving in and being a presence and seeing how I can help you more. I just can't tell you enough. My business changed in 2014 when I decided I'm going to start getting on the phone with people. That was the biggest thing. Instead of doing everything from Facebook Messenger, I was like, I'm going to start getting on the phone with people. And I remember about the time I started doing that was when Tanner signed up. And I was like, we were talking on Facebook, and I was even at work. I was like, do you have a minute? Can we just chat real quick on the phone? She's like, sure. And so right then and there, I called her and I talked to her, and she signed up that day. And not everybody was like that, but that for me was like such an eye opener. Like, I got to talk to her. I got to communicate with her. That was so much faster than the normal back and forth through Facebook, because she felt a little more comfortable with me getting on the phone. And then 2015, what I did differently that really changed my business was I started getting involved with my coaches. So I can't tell you enough how those 2 things are just so important. And then let's see. What else? Oh, I asked for screenshots. I had a couple girls I was talking to today, 2 of Autumn's newer coaches, and I asked them what they were struggling with, and they told me, and then I said, okay, well, how about you just, send me, I'm sorry, I just realized I wasn't recording, but then Danielle was. Sorry, brain fart. I was like, oh no. so I asked them to send screenshots, and it was cool because I was like, okay, that's really awesome. The only thing I would change is this. Instead of sending that link, make sure you're talking to them and asking them and leading the conversation instead of letting them lead. So asking for screenshots is really great. Just asking them what objections they're not sure how to respond to is awesome. And then you can say, okay, so what objection have you got that you just weren't sure where to go with? And they'll tell you, and then you can write out something like, I would say this. And that just really, really helps them, because in the beginning, it's seriously so much of not knowing how to respond to people. Sarah and Tanner and Molly now all have a posting group, and I'm working on putting one together as well. They're doing really awesome with that, and that's a really great thing to do, helping your coaches rank advance, because a lot of times they're sitting there in fear and not knowing what to do or what to say and what to post. And so that's you telling them, and you can also offer critique for them before they post if they're worried about maybe sharing their story or something like that. So those are all great ideas. And you can pair up with somebody else to do this too. You can't be like, oh my gosh, I can't take this on. Danielle and Jesse are both awesome success partners. And, if that's something they decided to do, that would be something that would be a lot easier doing with two people instead of worrying like, oh, I can't take another thing on my plate. So don't be afraid to find a success partner and reach out to them, because it really does help, especially when you're still building a team. Let's see, make posting group, coach post samples. In our team Google Drive, under posting tips, there's a recruiting scripts or something like that. And it's mine, Sarah, Tanner, Carolyn, and I think maybe Jessica Hill. We all put in sample coach posts that we've made in the past. Awesome. There's like 17 pages worth of coach posts for you to look at. So that's a really great tool for you guys to use too, and look at how to use for posting. And just like sometimes I'll do in my groups, and I'll be like, okay, homework for tonight is have a coach post by 9 p.m. and tag me in the comments. Like I've done that in the past, and I haven't done that in a while, but I like that, being like, okay guys, if you haven't, coach post tonight. And people are like, oh, okay, fine, I got to do it. So giving them homework every once in a while, even if it's not a posting group in your actual group, is very helpful too. Just, you can't stress enough about how Bonnie Ingalls says, talking about objections she's got in the past, successes she's had in the past, things like that. So they can battle those objections through their posts. I can't stress enough how helpful that is. But yeah, coaches that you have that are really working, be in contact with them daily, check in on them, edify them, lift them up, send them, I'm always like, not always, but if I have a coach that's really working, I'm just,
You froze again.
like stepping up your game, and I love it. So yeah, be sure to do that. So those are just kind of my tips. It's not brain surgery. It's honestly just being more present and being more involved and seeing how you can help. Because honestly, usually when you're waiting on a rank advancement, it's because you have coaches that are insecure, not sure what to do, not sure how to invite people, not sure how to respond back to objections. And that's really all it is you being a present part and saying, how can I help? Okay. So then I wanted to talk about free groups. And what I wanted you guys to do is, if you want to, just in the chat, write down any idea you've ever done for a free group or ideas you have for a free group, and then I'll copy that all into a document so that we can have that for ideas for coaches in their new free group. So that could be a crock pot group. I know Sarah did a walking group. It could be a clean eating group, free exercise group, gluten-free group. So, whatever, just start typing things in there, and then I'll take that and copy it into a document. But what we were talking about today is our free groups. I started off with the free group that was going to be anybody can do it. It doesn't even matter if they have a Beachbody program, because kind of like that's how our free groups are now. And it was called Just Push Play. And we were all I started off, I just made a post and I said, hey, does anybody have like a workout, DVD that's sitting on their shelf collecting dust? And, I got a lot of response from that. And I created a group, and everybody that said that I put into a group. And then I started talking to them every day. We'd be like, okay, I had an apple for breakfast, and da, 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 da. So just kind of like a lifestyle group. I know Molly was talking today about, a lifestyle group for, single women, like, how to cook for one, but also like personal fun stuff, kind of like how Kelly does with the woman hole. It's like, if you're in the woman hole, you're not allowed to talk about the woman hole outside of it. Cool idea. So let's see what else. I've done, clean eating groups. I've done, what else have we done? The crock pot groups are always great. Sarah and I were thinking of doing a gluten-free group. Let's see if I saw anybody here. Yeah, I mean, recipes, you can do whatever. And so you can either do it like a group where everybody's posting and maybe there's some challengers in there too, or you can do it as in like, hey, this is just for clean eating, and then add some type of value in that. But what I was saying today is that our free exercise group, we don't ever promote products in it. And the whole reason of having a group is at least to be able to convert people to customers. So I feel like it's great for new coaches to add to them, but I also feel like we need to be adding more value, more posting, and trying to talk about our product more, and that's partly my fault. I haven't been involved in groups in a long time. Like I used to be. I used to post in there every day. I used to be really interactive. And Melissa brought up a great idea that maybe we could do theme weeks. And so maybe week one's theme was something, and that's all we talked about. And then week two had a theme, and certain coaches were in charge of that. So being able to make it fun, maybe have some challenges, maybe like match yourself. You can, if you want to be matched up with a buddy and have challenges weekly, post below, and then, you'd only take people that commented. So people that obviously want to be in, and then maybe they'd make friends out of it. So, there's a million different ideas that you can do. But I just think that we need to get a better system in place of if you do a free group, you should not go all week without mentioning, like a free clean eating group. You should not go all week without mentioning Shakeology. You should not go a whole week without talking about the fitness and nutrition boot camp that you have coming up. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to do, is make sure that you're running a free group for a reason. And not that you're like, hey, here's my link or anything like that, but just planting seeds. The other thing I said on our diamond call is when you're having a group, is always write down, keep all track of all your posts into a document so you don't have to redo it all next time. Like if you do the work once, do not do the work a second time. That's stupid. And then you can also share it with your coaches and your downline for them. So I'd like to just open it up to talking about free groups, because I just honestly, I want to get more ideas. I want to know how you think that we can do them better. I want to know, because I'm just like, I'm about to create a new group just for my clients, and not do necessarily a fitness group, but just do like, hey, what did you do today towards working towards your goals? And it could be free. It didn't have to be any programs. But yeah, I just know something needs to change, because we're not using it to our our full potential. So any free group ideas, suggestions, free groups you're thinking of doing, but maybe you want some advice on how to start it or something, anything you want to ask us or talk about, or ideas you have, just throw them out there. I just wanted to talk about free groups, because it's just such a great way to get in people when you, especially as a new coach, like, hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for liking my page. How are you? Okay, great. We're so good to catch up. I have a free exercise group that we're all kind of keeping each other on track. Can I add you to it? It's such a great tool to be able to do, but you do also want them to be seeing you drinking your Shakeology and doing your workouts and things like that. So let's do real quick. I'm just going to talk to you about you guys' plan for your next free group. And so don't feel stressed, like you don't have to do it tonight. But if you have an idea for something that you think that would be really successful, maybe it's a 1 week thing that you run once a month, maybe it's an ongoing group. But I want you to kind of think about what's something that's either attached to your niche or that you think would be fun, and go for it. So I'm going to start with Molly, because I think she has a good idea.
So I had told April and Sarah earlier today that I've been thinking about this for a while, because my niche is single 20-something, 30-something women living on their own, but, independent, supporting themselves, things like that. And I want to create a group for them. So I, of course, want to keep it, if you all are part of Kelly's group, I want to keep it similar to that, maybe a little less risque. But so, just a bunch of girls talking about some recipes or quick eating tips for cooking for yourself. Of course, make my presence known that, it's my group and posting daily and something like that. But also, talking about my dating life, or, posting a silly picture with me and my puppy saying that this is my date for the night, or, little things like that, just to kind of help empower single women, kind of laugh at the dating scene and just that sort of thing. So that's what I was thinking. And my goal is to have that up and running by the end of March.
I love that. I think that's a great idea. And I think that's great too. Let me put this back. I'm sorry. I think that's great too, because it helps people really get to know you even more so. Probably you're not going to be like on Facebook, guess how my date went last night, so I think that's a really great idea, and it really does get to know you. I would, with all of your groups you do, just make it be known too that there's no I wouldn't invite any other Beachbody coaches that aren't on your team. And I also would just make it known that there's no, what's the word I want? Like they can't, advertise products or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's great. I think just make a, kind of Kelly has like a no BS rule. I know negativity will be accepted. You will be booted. Because that is something that you will have to do some damage control here and there. If you just, are always adding people from Instagram you don't know, there's going to be people that you're like, whoa, I did not know you were so negative. So just know that that's kind of in all groups that are kind of open like that. But I think that's a great idea. And I think that, you can just start off by getting your, people that you love being around, kind of clients that you think would make great coaches or customers, and just inviting them to be in it, close friends, things like that. And then just making a post about it. Yeah. But the only thing about making a post about it is if everybody comments, you're like, oh, I don't want that girl to know if I'm dating or something. So I think that's almost kind of a good thing to do by personal invitation.
Sure. Yeah, I was actually wondering that too, if I should, like tonight I posted about it, not exactly what it was, but just like, just that I was really excited because I had these new ideas in my head, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was my big thing, is how to invite people. So I'll probably stick to private messaging people
with a group that like yours. I think you got to pick your tribe that you want to be with.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of like just adding random people from work that I don't want knowing my business.
Right. Obviously somebody's already told on you for something.
Right. Well, that was a guy, so he wouldn't be allowed anyways.
No boys allowed. Hold on, I'm going to put my earphones in. But great, I love that.
That's my idea.
Okay. Sarah, do you know your idea? You want to go?
Sorry, it's so dark. The light is like all behind me. I kind of felt very similar to what Molly was saying about having like a lifestyle group. I wanted to make it, I decided that it would be all women also. I didn't, want to make it as extreme as the woman hole. Some of the stuff in there, even like, it makes me feel like a prude. But I, stuff, that's just like, I wanted to call it something like Natural Woman or something like that talks all about, just like health in general, like women's health, because I don't feel like there's, a forum for that, even if it's a matter of, talking about, different cleaning supplies that are natural versus others, and just having a place to put all of that stuff, because I really don't have one place to put people when they have a no. And I mean, it's nice. I just want something that's really low maintenance, I guess. So like I want a place to go where there's good value, but I don't have to worry about like after 1 week of like a clean eating group or after a month, like those people are like, nowhere to be found again.
Yeah, exactly. And I
need
think
like
that
a place for people to be babysat, basically.
Yeah. And you could maybe do like a theme for the month too, like who's going to get the most steps this month, and then the next month could be focusing on water or things like that.
Yep.
Then also sharing those other things too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. Cool. I saw some people jump off. I guess they didn't want to talk to us about their free group. I was like, no, wait, where are you going? Danielle, so what kind of things Jessie, that's it. We'll have to make fun of her later. So Danielle, what kind of free group do you think?
I don't know. I was not prepared for this question.
You just listen to 2 other people go.
Puppy related.
Yeah, I mean, mine would probably be something dog related. There's I'm part of a dog mom group on Facebook now that has thousands of members, and I'm discovering a lot of them are already Beachbody coaches. So maybe just doing like my own dog mom group and getting.
That'd be cute. And you can also just be like, okay, but we're also focusing on good health. So that's kind of cool. It's like a dog mom group that's healthy.
Yeah.
So that you could still kind of what Sarah was saying, if you find a fun like nutrition article or something that you wanted to share in there, you still could.
And Jessie could do that too because she's a dog mom.
Yes.
And we're one.
I know, I'm sorry. I like Danielle and Jessie are just like interchangeable names. I don't even realize it when they're like, you called me Jessie again.
That works.
Okay. So Alexis, what kind of group would you think about doing?
Well, we have a group right now. Me and Danny and a few other coaches got into it's called Bumps and Babies, and it's for moms and pregnant moms. So it's still pretty active. Yeah, she did.
That is so cute.
Watch Vivian. You have to be quiet. Watch Vivian.
I think
so that's just okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
And she's gone.
And she's gone. I think that was the cutest I've ever heard April said, by the way. So I think you should send me voice messages all the time with her saying it. No, don't be sorry. You're totally fine. But that's I definitely think that groups centered to moms is awesome. Our Autumn Rodriguez has a mom group, and she started honestly like 2 years before she was even a coach. She's got like 400 members, and most of the people that she's pulling as clients and coaches right now are coming from that group. So I definitely think groups that are not like, I love the idea of not having to start a new group every month too, and just having themed and not having to be like, oh, I have to start a new group every month and things. So I think that would be better for all of us. And then also it's kind of like, these are my clients, not like everybody and their mother is there too. So I think that it's more personal, and sometimes people don't want to post when there's a billion people that they don't know. So, being able to kind of keep it to your personal, like your niche of people, I think that's great. I don't think it has to replace the free group. If somebody wanted to continue to do it, they could. I just personally don't use that to my advantage. And I think it's because it changes every month and I have to, find new people. So I think it's just really great idea to kind of do something that's like just you, and you don't have to do a ton to do it, but that's where you add your people, your clients, your coaches, you can be found in there, and people that add you from Instagram, or the people that you add to Facebook. And then you're like, hey, how's it going? You form them. And then you can be like, well, I have this like lifestyle group or whatever you want to call it. So I just kind of think that that's the direction I'm going to go. That's how I started. And that was honestly a big portion of my success. Oh, the Danielle jumped off. I was going to ask her next.
So yeah, but I
think not because you were gonna ask her.
probably. Whose coach was she? I didn't recognize her last name.
Mine. She just signed up the other day.
Oh, I hope it wasn't a brat. I hope it didn't scare her away. I was like, 2 people already went in front of you. And then I was like, that was so mean. Why did you say that?
It's the wine talking. You haven't drank in a long time.
True. But yeah. So I would, and was it Sarah? Yeah. Sarah said something really awesome today that she does one thing a month. So January, her big goal was to get a logo made and get shirts for her team. And then, maybe, I don't know what other examples she used, but I'm going to make a Coach Basics group this month. I'm going to make a webinar this month, things like that. And I think that's really great to just take one of those big things from your should-do list and just make it non-negotiable by, the end of February. That's going to be done. And you can break that into 10 to 20 minute tasks and then put that onto your calendar and things like that. So yeah. So does anybody have any questions about anything or anything that we talked about, or have any questions on getting started with groups or anything?
I have a real quick question.
Yeah.
About that summit recognition thing that you posted.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that more?
Yeah. So you have to hold to be a star diamond. So say you hit 1 star, you have to hold 1 star for 6 consecutive weeks before you're officially 1 star. So you can be 1 star qualifying, but you have to be 1 star qualifying by May 19th to hold it for the 6 weeks till June, whatever, to be officially recognized at Summit as that.
What are you talking about with Emerald though?
That they don't have to be Emerald until June 25th or whatever that deadline was.
So Emeralds get recognized at Summit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was saying that they don't have to hold it because once you're Emerald, you're Emerald.
Right.
So like June 25th was their deadline, but for Star Diamonds, their deadline is May 19th. So, it's good for them to know that if Emerald's your goal, yeah, you could wait till June 25th, but for our coach, for me or for my coach to hit their goal, we really all need to hit our rank and hold it by May 19th. Because an Emerald could help somebody be a Diamond.
That's not Diamond, that's Star Diamond.
Yes.
Right. Star Diamond. Yeah. So there's a 6-week qualification for Star Diamond rank advancement. Okay. So basically what April's saying is that.
Sorry, take it away.
No, that's okay. So.
You just keep drinking, honey.
Your coach needs Emeralds to get to Diamond,
right?
Which would advance you to Star Diamond,
right?
So they would need to do that by May 19th in order for that person to rank advance. In order for you to be a Star Diamond rank advance.
Okay. I understood the 6-week Star Diamond, but then I was confused on where the Emerald was coming in.
No, that was just saying that June 25th, if you're Emerald, you'll be recognized as Emerald.
Okay.
Also, another really cool thing that actually made me tear up at Summit is that when you get there and when you log in and register for for all of your shit, they give you a huge medallion badge. It's freaking awesome.
They don't do that for Emerald, do they?
No.
Yeah.
So on your name tag, it'll say Danielle Mullen, Diamond Coach or whatever. It'll also have if you're a Success Club All-Star or Legend, it'll say that on the name tag also. So basically it's your whole friggin' Beachbody resume on this thing. Mm-hmm. And then you also get this huge diamond medallion medal thing. Mm-hmm. And that was one of my proudest moments, was putting that on and taking a picture next to the diamond registration. Mm-hmm. It was just really, really, really cool because I knew how hard I worked to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for no other reason, that was just
then you get the big medallion.
Yeah.
But no, I just looked at that picture yesterday on our webinar and I was like, oh, it just seriously is such a good feeling. I remember the first summit I went to that I was Diamond, and I was just like, I'm so glad that my thing does not say Emerald Coach. I feel so special. I really do feel special. So yeah, for nothing else, if you're Diamond June 25th, it will say Diamond. But the other really cool thing is that if you're 1 star or above, they have you walk out on the field, and they have all your name on a big screen and things like that. And 1 through 4-star, they have you walk out there. And then they do the same thing for 5 to 15. And if you're elite, they actually like announce your name on stage. So that was so cool. We got to see Kelly do that last year. And I just remember being there and being like, I will be there next year. Yep. And this whole year, I've literally pictured myself walking out on stage on Summit, and it's just like, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Like, it's going to happen. So I think being at Summit and seeing that and setting those goals, it makes it even more real because you can actually really picture it. And it may sound so stupid, like, okay, cool, you got to walk across stage. But I remember being like, this is my biggest dream. Like, it's silly, but it was awesome.
And it was really, really amazing as a coach to sit in the stands and to see April walk across and get all of her, recognition, and to be like, that's my coach. Like, we were all screaming for her, and it was just awesome. And, I don't know, like, it's just really, really awesome. So
I know.
Be on stage.
Yeah. And so the more I can get people to just be like, get that free Summit ticket, like, the better, because, and anybody I think after February will be getting a 2017 that signs on after February, be getting a
January 31st.
Oh, okay. So February and on. Okay. Gotcha. So anybody that signs on in February will be getting their free ticket. Success started in 2017. So they can still get on the wait list, but chances are they're not going to be able to get off that because it's long. But yeah, I just think like getting to live events and people seeing firsthand how much those rank advancements mean to people is just huge, because sometimes you're like, okay, diamond, cool. But then when you're like, okay. And I remember as a new coach, like, you thought like 2-star was like unattainable. Like, yeah, okay, one day maybe. And now you're like, I just got to get 2 people that want to do it as much as I do. I can find that. So it is really cool to see that. I'm so excited for Summit. I can't wait. So yeah, and then Smart Success, Danielle and Kristen will both be there. We've got a good group of people going for that, so that should be really fun. If you guys do decide to do that next year, I'm going to make sure everybody actually buys the ticket in their name, because then the following year you can get your ticket for $97. So I wasn't super aware of that. So yeah, but Smart Success is awesome. Just look up different, seminars and things that are about to be happening, because there's so much stuff out there. Don't be afraid to. I did a couple local things here. Last year it was like some life coach or something. It was $200. It was a weekend workshop, and he worked with John C. Maxwell, and I was like, oh, sure, let's do it. So, don't be afraid to look out of your comfort zone too, and see what kind of, seminars or something might be near you, or other things that you might want to branch out and invite your coaches to and stuff. So, but yeah, any other questions for you guys? Anything you're struggling with, or anything I can help you with?
Nope. I'm going to jump off so I can go work abs before Captain Fitness runs out of energy.
Captain Fitness. Do it. Have fun.
You guys.
Oh, wait. You're recording, so I need you to just stop recording.